99% of men make the same fatal mistake. They try to seduce her social mask. They compliment her dress, her hair, her correct answers, and her agreeable personality traits. They praise her ego, her persona, as Carl Jung would say. And every time, they're surprised when all they get back is a polite smile and a one-way ticket to the friend zone. They're talking to her neocortex, the part of the brain responsible for logic, analysis, and social conformity, failing to understand that the center of attraction lies much deeper. But there's the 1% of men who understand. The true volcano of passion isn't hidden in her social role, but in her subconscious, in her shadow, in what Sigmund Freud called the id, her primal, animalistic instincts that she herself fears, but secretly craves to submit to. These men don't speak to her logic, but to her limbic system, the ancient brain responsible for emotions, instincts, and desire. They know that attraction isn't a logical choice. It's a biochemical reaction that can and must be triggered by the right stimuli. And today, we will learn to speak not to her logic, but to her instincts. I won't give you compliments, but 5 verbal keys, 5 command phrases that hack her internal filters. This knowledge is dangerous because it works without fail, bypassing her conscious resistance and speaking directly to the part of her that craves a strong, leading man, but I'm ready to share it. First, however, I need your help. If you're ready to learn the truth, like this video, so I know we're on the same wavelength. And if you're new here and not afraid of the deep end, make sure you subscribe. Let me know in the comments what city you're from. I love seeing our community's geography. Part 1, Phrase 1, I see what you're hiding. These aren't just words. This is a verbal scalpel. This phrase instantly pulls both of you out of the superficial social ritual and into a deeply intimate space. You stop being just another guy trying to impress her. You become someone who sees right through her. Layer 1, factual reinforcement. The psychology of being seen. To grasp the colossal power of this phrase, we must turn to Jung. Each of us wears a persona, a social mask, the ideal version of ourselves that we present to the world. But beneath this mask lies the shadow, everything we suppress, our secret desires, fears, weaknesses, and most importantly, our wild, untamed energy. The deepest, almost animalistic human need is not just to be noticed, but to be truly seen, shadow and all. A woman subconsciously waits for a man who isn't afraid of her shadow, but who sees strength and beauty in it. By saying, I see what you're hiding, you do exactly that. You're telling her without words, I'm not interested in your perfect mask. I see the real you. I see your passion, your pain, your demons. And I'm not scared. It attracts me. This strikes directly at her subconscious desire to be fully accepted, not just for her good qualities. You activate her mirror neurons, not on the level of empathy for her words, but on the level of resonance with her hidden feelings. Layer 2, contextual demonstration. The shining mask of sadness scenario. Imagine this. She's telling you a success story from work with a bright but mechanical smile. Her words are positive, but her body language micro-pauses, darting eyes, a barely perceptible tension in her shoulders screams the opposite. The standard mistake, to believe her words. Saying, wow, that's amazing, means praising her mask and staying on the surface. Asking, is something wrong? Forces her to become defensive. Your strategy. Don't react to her words. Verbally mirror her state. Your goal isn't to console her, but to show that you see deeper. You let her know that her one-woman show hasn't fooled you. You deliver the verbal formula that validates her hidden feelings. You're saying incredibly powerful things. But I can see what it costs you to maintain that image. The psychological effect. In that moment, she receives something far more valuable than pity. the feeling of finally being truly seen. You aren't trying to hack her. You're simply showing that you're already on her side of the wall, inside her inner world. Layer 3. Analogies and metaphors. Imagine that most men are tourists taking pictures of a beautiful, ancient castle's facade. They admire the walls, the windows, the architecture. But you are not a tourist. You're an explorer with a key to a secret door. The phrase, "I see what you're hiding," and its variations are that very key. You're not looking at the facade. You're saying, "I know the most interesting treasures and ghosts are inside, and I'm not afraid to enter." This instantly changes your value in her eyes because you're offering her exploration, not judgment. Deep acceptance, not superficial admiration. Layer 4. Pitfall analysis. Anti-case. The Inquisitor. The biggest mistake is to turn this into an interrogation or an accusation. Phrases like, "I can see you're lying," or "What do you really mean by that?" are a failure. That's the position of an inquisitor. Anti-case. A guy on a date, trying to seem perceptive, constantly interrupts the woman. "No, you didn't say that sincerely," or "You're clearly lying here." He thinks he's showing his insight. In reality, he's only causing irritation and a desire to be defensive. She shuts down completely because she feels like she's on trial, not understood. The correct stance. You are not a judge, but a mirror. Your phrase doesn't accuse. It acknowledges and invites a dialogue on another level. It creates intrigue. It shows you're a man with emotional intelligence, capable of seeing deeper than others. The result? She will either open up in a state of mild shock, or, even if she continues to deny it, her subconscious will have already registered. He's different. He sees me. From that moment on, the entire dynamic of your interaction changes. You're no longer in a job interview. You are two people who have taken off their masks. Part 2, Phrase 2. Stop being a good girl. This is perhaps the sharpest and most provocative phrase in the entire arsenal, and the most effective when used correctly. Because this isn't an order or an insult. It's permission. Permission to be yourself. Layer 1. Factual reinforcement. The psychology of the social corset. Closing parenthesis. Our entire modern culture, our entire upbringing, pushes a woman into the good girl frame. Be agreeable, be polite, don't cause trouble, suppress your improper desires, be modest. Psychologists call this socially prescribed behavior. It's a social corset she has worn since childhood. But beneath that corset, her shadow is churning, her wild, passionate, irrational nature. And she is desperately waiting for someone to give her the right to take it off. When you tell her, "Stop being a good girl," you're not saying, "Be a bad girl." You're saying, "I see your inner conflict. I see how you want one thing, but social norms force you to do another. With me, you don't have to pretend. With me, you can be real." This is liberation. It's the verbal key to her inner cage. You become an agent of her personal freedom. Layer 2. Contextual demonstration. The killing spontaneity scenario. Imagine you're walking through an empty city at night, and she looks at a fountain with childlike wonder. You can see she wants to run through the water jets, but she immediately checks herself. "Oh no, that's silly. I'm an adult. I'll get my dress wet." Her superego, her inner critic, kills her impulse. The standard mistake, asking, "Do you want to?" or trying to persuade her, "Come on, it'll be fun." This is a weak position. You're shifting the responsibility for the wrong decision onto her. Your strategy. Take on the role of the leader who gives permission for a little madness. You don't ask, you acknowledge her desire and lead. In that moment, you deliver the formula of liberation. Stop being a good girl. Let's go. The key is that after these words, You don't wait for a response. You make a confident move, take her hand, and lead her to the fountain. You don't ask for permission. You lead her toward her own desire. The psychological effect? You become her partner in a small crime against the boredom of adult life. This creates an instant bond and a sense of adventure. You are the man with whom she can be alive, not just proper. Layer 3. Analogies and metaphors. Imagine a tamed falcon sitting on a falconer's glove. It's beautiful, obedient, proper. But it's a predator. Its nature is to fly, to soar on the wind, to hunt. The phrase, "stop being a good girl," is the moment the falconer removes the hood from its head and tosses it into the air, saying, "Fly." You're not forcing it to hunt. You're simply giving it back its nature. This is the highest form of care and trust, because in that moment, you believe in her strength more than she does herself. Layer 4. Pitfall analysis. Anti-case. The sleazy manipulator. The most terrible mistake is to say this with a lewd, sleazy undertone in a sexual context. Anti-case. A guy on a first date is trying to get a woman back to his place. She hesitates. He says, "Come on, stop being a good girl." The effect? Instant repulsion. He's not a liberator. He's a cheap seducer trying to push past her boundaries by using her own. Guilt against her. The correct stance, tone, and context are everything. Your frame is adventure, freedom, play not sex. You aren't seducing her into something bad. You are inviting her into a space of freedom where there are no judgments of good or bad, only honest or dishonest with oneself. Think of Jung again. Integrating the shadow is the path to wholeness. By helping her accept and express her shadow side, you become not just a lover, but a guide to her true self. This creates a depth of connection that nothing can break. It is precisely for this level of psychological understanding that this channel was created. If this is the approach you've been searching for, now is the best time to subscribe and become part of our community. Part 3. Phrase 3. I like your energy, your chaos. This technique operates on a completely different level than standard compliments. When a man tells a woman, "You have beautiful eyes," or "You're smart," he's praising her understandable, socially approved attributes. He's evaluating her neocortex, her logical, visible part. But when you say, "I like your energy," you're complimenting her limbic system, her animalistic, irrational core. Layer 1. Factual reinforcement. The evolutionary biology of attraction. What is energy or chaos in this context? From an evolutionary psychology perspective, we subconsciously look for signs of health and high vitality in a partner. Energy is the primary marker of this vitality. It's her life force. It's how she laughs, how she moves, how she gets angry, how she's passionate about an idea. It's her spontaneity, her unpredictability. It's what she often considers a flaw in herself, trying to organize and control it. And you come along and say, "That right there is the most valuable and sexiest thing about you." You're not praising her accomplishments. You're praising her biological essence. You're telling her, "Your life force attracts me." This is the most powerful compliment because it's aimed at her core, not her shell. Layer 2. Contextual demonstration. The passionate monologue scenario. Imagine she's passionately and a bit chaotically telling you a story, gesturing, jumping from one thought to another, her eyes on fire. The standard mistake, trying to follow the logic of the story, asking clarifying questions. "Wait, I don't get it. Who called whom?" This extinguishes her flow, forcing her to switch into rational mode. Your strategy. Ignore the content and focus on the form. Your goal is to mirror her state, not the information. You let her pour out her emotions, and then, when she pauses, you deliver the formula of accepting her element. I'm not even trying to follow the plot right now. I just fucking love your chaos. Your energy. The psychological effect. She feels not just heard, but felt. You've shown her that her emotional nature is not a flaw, but a gift. This creates a sense of deep understanding and allows her to be even more open and alive around you. Layer 3. Analogies and metaphors. Imagine the difference between a perfectly functioning, predictable Swiss watch and the unpredictable, mesmerizing dance of fire in a fireplace. Most men praise a woman for running like clockwork, being on time, proper, predictable. But true attraction is sparked by the fire, its warmth, its light, its danger, and its constant motion. By saying, I like your chaos, you're saying, I'm not afraid of your fire. I've come to warm myself by it. You show that you value life in her, not function. Layer 4. Pitfall analysis. Anti-case. The empty talker. Anti-case. A guy who has read too many tips automatically throws out the phrase, "You have great energy," to every woman on a first date. He says it formally, without feeling, while looking at his phone or around the room. A woman instantly reads the fakeness. This phrase, devoid of sincere admiration, sounds like the cheapest, most overused pickup line. The correct stance. This phrase demands your genuine admiration for her life force. You must truly, for a second, detach from her words and see the power behind them. This isn't a technique. It's a philosophy of perceiving a woman not as an object to be evaluated, but as a force of nature to be enjoyed. If you don't feel it, it's better to say nothing. But if you do feel it, say it, and you will witness magic. Part 4. Phrase 4. I want you to do this for me. This phrase is the litmus test that separates a leader from a supplicant. Compare two models of behavior. The first, safe model. Could you please, if it's not too much trouble, do? This phrase reeks of uncertainty, fear of rejection, and shifting the responsibility for the decision to the woman. The second, leadership model. Do this for me. Short, clear, confident. Layer 1. Factual reinforcement. The psychology of leader and follower. Here, we enter the territory of archetypes. In the female subconscious, no matter how much modern ideology denies it, there is a pull to follow strength. A woman gets tired of making decisions. She lives in a world that constantly demands her to be strong, independent, and in control of everything. A man who comes in and confidently, but not rudely, states what he wants, gives her the greatest gift, the opportunity to relax and trust. He lifts the burden of responsibility from her. This isn't about submission. It's about an effective distribution of roles in a pair, where the man takes on the role of the navigator, setting the course. Layer 2. Contextual demonstration. The gift of trust scenario. Imagine you're teaching her something. You're an expert at snowboarding, playing a chord on a guitar, throwing a knife correctly. She's scared. She's failing. She starts to overanalyze and doubt herself. The standard mistake. Coaxing. Encouraging. Saying, you can do it. Try again. This turns you into a cheerleader. Your strategy. Stop her frantic analysis. Take full responsibility for the outcome. You look her in the eyes. Your voice is calm and firm. You deliver the formula of control transfer. Look at me. Forget that you are failing. I want you to just trust me right now and do exactly as I say. The psychological effect. You switch her from I have to get this right mode to I can trust him mode. The fear vanishes because the responsibility is now on you. She relaxes and is far more likely to perform the action correctly. This creates a powerful bond based on her trust in your competence. Layer 3. Analogies and metaphors. Imagine yourself as the captain of a ship in a storm. The crew is panicking. A good captain doesn't ask the sailors, "So, what do you guys think? Should we maybe turn left?" He gives a clear command, hard to port. The crew carries it out with relief, because in the midst of chaos, nothing is more calming than a confident leader who knows what to do. In a relationship, especially in her moments of uncertainty, you are that captain. Your direct command request is that life-saving order that brings clarity and calm. Layer 4. Pitfall. Analysis. Anti-case. The household tyrant. Anti-case. A man uses this construction for domestic commands, turning it into a tool of humiliation. Phrases like, "I want you to bring me a beer," or "I want you to do the dishes right now," said in a demanding tone, are not leadership. They are domestic tyranny. This kills attraction and breeds only resentment. The correct stance. This phrase is used to enhance intimacy and create your world, not to manage household chores. It is appropriate when you are leading her to a new experience, to pleasure, to growth. The line between confidence and cruelty is in your intent. If your intent is to take care of her, to lead her towards something good, she will feel it and gladly follow. If your intent is to assert yourself at her expense, she will feel that too, and she will rebel. Part 5. Phrase 5. Don't think, just feel. This is a master-level phrase. It's a verbal switch that turns off her neocortex and hands full control over to her ancient limbic brain. It is the culmination of everything we have discussed. It cannot be used without the foundation of trust, built by the previous steps. Layer 1. Factual reinforcement. The neurobiology of trust and relaxation. Let's turn to Freud. He identified 3 structures of the personality. The ID, our instincts. Desires, the ego, our reason. Reality, and the superego, our morality. The inner critic. A woman's brain, especially in moments of intimacy, is in a constant state of conflict. Her I wants to surrender to the moment, but her superego is constantly analyzing. Am I doing the right thing? What will he think? How do I look? This internal dialogue is the killer of passion. It activates the prefrontal cortex, responsible for analysis and control, and suppresses the amygdala, the center of emotions. The phrase, "don't think, just feel," is a direct command to her ego to shut down her superego. You, as the authority figure, as the leader, take over the function of her inner critic. You are telling her, from this moment on, I am responsible for everything. I am your safety. You don't need to analyze anything anymore. Your only job is to experience pleasure. This is the highest form of verbal dominance, because it is based on absolute care. Layer 2. Contextual demonstration. The inner critic in bed scenario. Imagine, in a moment of maximum intimacy, you feel she's tense. Her body is here, but her mind is somewhere else. She's in her head. Maybe she's self-conscious or analyzing her actions. The standard mistake. Asking, "Is something wrong? Are you with me?" This only amplifies her anxiety and makes her analyze even more. Your strategy. Gently but firmly bring her back from the world of thoughts to the world of sensations. You stop any active movements. Maybe you just look into her eyes or brush a strand of hair from her face. Your voice is quiet, almost a whisper, but very firm. You deliver the hypnotic formula. Hey, look at me. Don't think. Just feel. Right now, there is only you, me, and what's between us. The psychological effect. It's like flipping a switch. You are not asking. You are giving her an instruction on how to relax. You are taking on the role of her reason, freeing her from that function. For a woman, this can be an experience she has perhaps never had. It's the experience of complete surrender to the moment, of total release of control, because there is someone next to her to whom she can entrust that. Control completely. Layer 3. Analogies and metaphors. Imagine her mind is a noisy, crowded city with thousands of signals, traffic lights, and rules. She's trying to keep track of everything at once and therefore cannot enjoy the walk. Your phrase is like taking her by the hand, leading her out of the city into a quiet forest at night, and saying, "There are no rules here. You don't need to watch out for anything. Just breathe and listen to the silence." You are the guide from the world of anxiety to the world of pure sensation. Layer 4. Pitfall analysis. Anti-case. The premature guru. Anti-case. A guy on a second date tries to kiss a woman. She pulls away, clearly not ready. Trying to appear wise and dominant, he proclaims, "Don't think, just feel." This is a catastrophe. He hasn't built the foundation of trust. The phrase sounds like the crudest manipulation, an attempt to push past her boundaries and invalidate her hesitation. She think? Right. He wants to shut my brain off so he can take advantage of me. The correct stance. This phrase is the cherry on top of the cake of trust you have been building throughout your entire interaction. Mistakes here are unacceptable and fatal. Any note of uncertainty, pleading, or, conversely, of harsh command will kill the magic. The tone must be absolute, calm, and loving. You are not forcing. You are freeing. The correct use of this phrase elevates her intimacy to a transcendent level. Conclusion. The architect of her desire is today. We've broken down 5 phrases, but it's not about the words. It's about the philosophy behind them. A philosophy of leadership, not supplication. A philosophy of depth, not superficiality. True masculine dominance is not about making a woman do what she doesn't want to do. It's about creating such a space of safety and trust that she herself will want to give you control. Because she will feel that by following you, she becomes more alive, more real, more free than she was before you. As the pioneers of psychoanalysis. From Freud to Jung said, the key to a person's soul lies in their unconscious. By learning to speak this language, you cease to be just an actor in the play of her life. You become its director, the architect of her boldest desires. And now, the main question for you, and answer honestly. Which of these 5 phrases do you think is the most powerful, and perhaps the most dangerous in unskilled hands? Write the number and why you think so in the comments. Let's gather our collective opinion.